large language models are rewriting the playbook. If you're not riding the wave, you're stuck on the shore. But who's time to test drive every single model out there? That's why we've done the heavy lifting for you. This video will speedrun the hottest LLMs, break down what they're best at, show you exactly how to prompt them, and drop insider tips you won't hear anywhere else. By the end, you will know which model fits your style and how to make it sing. This is the last LLM crash course you'll ever need. ChatGPT is the GOAT. Everyone knows that. Take any person's laptop and you will have ChatGPT open in a separate tab. It was the first one to hit the market and all other LLMs were modeled after it. The interface, the features, the internal logic, all other LLMs get new features only after ChatGPT gets them. And on this channel, we have tons of videos already about everything you might want to know about ChatGPT, and I suggest you watch those. Here's our full guide to the GPT 4.0. It's a half-hour crash course into ChatGPT. Here's another one where we go over all the new features like Canvas, task scheduling, or deep research. And here's our latest guide to the new image generation in the GPT 4.0. So if you want to learn ChatGPT, watch those videos. And for learning generative AI in general, welcome to our brand new course into generative AI. I know you might imagine taping over your webcam and mic whenever you hear Meta, but trust me, it's actually pretty cool. Meta AI comes in two versions. There is a separate website, and there's an AI that's built right into Meta's larger platform. The web version is pretty simple and has almost everything you need. I'd put in about the same level as 4.0 when it comes to replies and features. Of course, it can write articles for you or blog posts, and its writing style is pretty close to ChatGPT's. Meta AI runs in a model called Llama, and they've been updating like crazy, bigger context windows, improved ways to handle different kinds of content, and better logic. It's honestly a good model. And the fact that they let people use it for free is a nice move. Feature-wise, Meta AI on the web is really flexible, can handle nearly anything you throw at it, like images, PDFs, text documents, and data files. It also has a memory you can update right in the chat. I haven't seen a special menu for managing or wiping that memory like ChatGPT has, but it still remembers whatever you tell it. It doesn't pull info from different chats though, so I'd recommend using that one conversation as your go-to place for instructions. Just start with remember that and then list your preferences. There is a Canvas mode too, which feels a bit like ChatGPT's, but it's more like a write-in workshop. You can highlight any bit of text and ask for a rewrite, change the entire text, or drop in images. It's pretty fun. Just highlight a word, tap Imagine, and the AI generates 4 images right away for that spot in the text. You can even tweak the prompt to change what it shows. The Canvas editing window itself is bigger than ChatGPT's with a smaller chat window. It's missing some convenient controls, but it does have formatting tools. Overall, it's a nice feature, especially if you like to write. And of course, if you're aiming to replace ChatGPT, you need image generation. Meta AI has that covered. It's sort of like Adobe Firefly. You can generate an image in the chat, pick the one you like, and then edit it if you want. You can also adjust the settings for all 4 images, like changing the aspect ratio, lighting, or style, and you'll see them update in real time. It's not the best image generator out there, but it's solid and gets the job done. It struggles a bit with putting text in images though. That's the web version of Meta AI, but Meta AI has really grown into an entire ecosystem. You can even use it in Facebook chats and comments or through Meta's glasses. I'm not the biggest fan of everything Zuck does, but you have to admit, it's neat. You can find info, handle vision tasks, all the good stuff. The glasses are basically the full Meta AI experience, but you don't actually need them to use the tool. Even without the fancy hardware, Meta AI is a strong option. AI is the mind behind all the innovations. If you want to master these skills and understand how these tools are built, or maybe build one, then SkillUp is the platform to learn these skills. They're sponsoring this video, and SkillUp by Simply Learn honestly feels like it was designed for all of us AI people. Whether you are a student who's just dipping your toes into the world of tech, developer trying to level up with the latest tools, or even a manager looking to stay ahead of the curve, SkillUp has you covered. They've got a massive library of self-paced courses and everything you can think of: AI, data science, cybersecurity, cloud computing, digital marketing, project management, you name it. And these aren't just slapped together lectures. Each course is built in collaboration with industry pros and top-tier partners like Google, Microsoft, and AWS. So you're not only learning the theory behind these topics, you're getting the kind of knowledge that's actually used out in the real world. One thing I absolutely love about SkillUp is how flexible it is. I mean, I've been watching videos on my iPad while waiting for a coffee to brew, and even sneaking in a few lessons on my phone. It's all self-paced, so you don't need to worry about juggling strict schedules. And here's the cherry on top. Once you finish a course, you get a free certificate to show off your new skills. No hidden fees, no annoying strings attached. So if you're looking to pivot your career into tech, boost your skill set in your current job, or maybe just learn something totally new for fun, SkillUp is kind of a no-brainer. You can sign up using the link in the description below or the pinned comment, and when you do, let me know which course you pick. Answer this. What is a ChatGPT killer? Is it just some tool that does everything better? I think can also be a tool that lets you do a bunch of stuff in one place, like using different AI models under one subscription. That's exactly what Poe is, and it's really interesting if you know how AI tools differ and which ones specialize in what. With Poe, you can switch between them to get better results. That's the whole point. You're not stuck with the single model. You basically get them all. The list of models is crazy. I scroll and scroll, and it keeps going. Llama, Grok, Gemini, DeepSeek. I can even use ChatGPT 3.5 here. Then each model has its own chat with most of the features you'd expect. Multimodality is on board, so I can upload images for analysis, PDFs to grab text from, and so on. Which features you get depends on the model, so if it can do something, Poe won't magically force it. But all the usual prompting tricks still work like they normally do for each model. It's a great way to explore AI and figure out which model fits your needs best. I love how flexible Poe is. If a model has canvas, Poe will open it without any trouble. If a model like 11 Labs can do audio, it gives me simple audio tools. If the model needs more reasoning, it does that too. I can even create my own apps because of the built-in Claude integration. For instance, I made a quick app for removing the background from an image. One click, and I'm already uploading my photo. Poe has a model of its own, but it's just okay. Fortunately, each response has a button underneath to compare that same response with another model. So unlike with ChatGPT, you can swap to a better model in the middle of the chat if you feel like it. Don't say you weren't waiting for this one. Gemini 2.5 Pro. For years, Gemini has been a must-have in videos like this, but this time it really deserves its spot. Right now, it's pretty much what GPT-5 could be, except it's from Google and free to use. You get up to 50 messages per day with its top model, then it drops to a smaller one that's still almost as good as 4.0. Until GPT 4.1 arrived, the simplest advantage of Gemini was its 1 million token context window. Now ChatGPT has cut up to that number, and Google is only weeks away from doubling Gemini's token limit. By the time you're watching this, it might have already happened. Gemini can remember a ton of information at once, which is a big deal if you like long AI chats, maybe you're planning a project, summarizing huge sections of text, or building in each step as you go. ChatGPT does have memory too, but it might lose some details if your conversation stretches on too long. Gemini can handle more data without forgetting, which helps a lot when you're writing lengthy essays, digging through piles of information, or needing the AI to recall earlier points from your discussion. When it comes to searching online, Gemini often goes a step beyond ChatGPT because web search is on by default and also works with its best model. It's not just about giving a quick answer. Gemini can pull info from different places and mix it into one detailed response, even if you didn't specifically ask. Sure, there is a deep research mode as well, and it performs as well as ChatGPT's, but most of the time, you can get what you need without it. One of the best things about Gemini is how smoothly it ties into Google's services. You can connect it to Docs, Sheets, Drive, Maps, and plenty more. That means you can grab notes from Drive, ask for directions, or gather travel tips without juggling multiple tabs. ChatGPT can do something like that with plugins, but those can feel like an extra layer that doesn't always work perfectly. The only area where Gemini lags behind ChatGPT is image generation. Don't get me wrong, it's solid here, just not as good as GPT 4.0. Sometimes it messes up text, misses a part of your prompt, or isn't totally consistent. Still, for a free image generator, it's quite good. And to your surprise, Gemini is actually better than ChatGPT when it comes to multimodality. It works with a wider range of files. Of course, Gemini handles large PDFs, Word docs, or text logs easily. You can attach these files, mention them in your question, and Gemini will summarize or analyze them. It also works with images, audio, and even videos. Yes? videos. Its coding mode is also stronger. It's fantastic at debugging, supports popular coding languages, and can even run code right in the tool. Look at this game it fixed. No plugins needed. You just paste the code and it works. And sure, Canvas supports code in here too. Gemini today isn't the same Gemini we knew a year ago. Now it's leading the pack, and OpenAI will need something really special for GPT-5 to catch up to Google. Grok was first released a few years ago and has changed a lot since then. Now, it's a worthy alternative to ChatGPT, especially considering how much you get for the price compared to the features. For starters, it has pretty much all the same essential abilities as ChatGPT, can write articles and do web searches just as well, so that alone isn't the big draw anymore. Grok works a lot like ChatGPT and serves as a perfect example of generative AI, specifically an LLM. Since most LLMs share the same basic principles, learning the fundamentals of generative AI will let you use almost any LLM effectively. That's exactly what we focus on in our brand new 101 crash course into generative AI at Geekademy, where we show you how AI interprets prompts, how to prompt properly, and what common mistakes to avoid. We're adding new lessons every week, and the course covers everything from the inner workings of AI and the logic behind tools like ChatGPT to in-depth tips and prompting for image generators, complete with concrete examples and insights into their popular features. We also explore developer tools and coding assistance in real-life situations, plus essential prompts and templates. Beyond that, we dive into music and video generation tools, AI avatars, text-to-speech options, and so many others. Basically, if it has to do with generative AI, it's in our course, guiding you from zero to pro under one Geekademy subscription. And right now, we're offering a massive 80% discount on a 6-month access to Geekademy. It's a limited time offer, so don't miss out. What really stood out to me was how convenient and logical Grok feels. If I want to research something, I have 3 ways to do it. One is to just ask a question normally, which triggers a quick, simple web search. The second option is deep search, which takes around a minute and pulls together more thorough and concise info. Grok gathers data from various articles and, in under half a minute, puts together a solid chunk of text with conclusions and summaries. The last option is deeper search, which is basically Grok's version of deep research in ChatGPT, but way faster. The request I tried would have taken ChatGPT at least 5 to 10 minutes, and Grok did it in 3.5. Complete with links, detailed info, and neat formatting. Another cool feature is that I can turn on reasoning anytime without having to switch models. This reasoning mode works about as well as GPT-01 or GPT-03, only faster, and it doesn't cost anything extra. By now, Grok is basically that omni model GPT-5 is aiming to be. One model that can do it all. It writes, it handles files, does web searches, and even generates images all from the same place. Image generation here is pretty cool too. I can upload a picture and make edits like adding glasses or upscaling, and unlike the latest ChatGPT image tools, Grok keeps everything consistent. ChatGPT sometimes shifts the whole image around when you edit it. Granted, Grok might not be as sharp as ChatGPT at generating text and images, but the overall edits work really well. Creating new images is super simple and follows the same rules as ChatGPT. The editing window just works differently. Grok doesn't let you pick a specific part of the image to edit. Instead, you choose between subject, background, or style. Once you pick, you don't confirm anything, the changes appear almost instantly. There is also a prompt for bigger tweaks. I really like this image generation. It's consistent, it's reliable, and free. I agree that Grok has fewer flashy features than ChatGPT, but some parts are just as good or better. Consider the workplaces, for instance. They're basically the same idea as spaces in ChatGPT. You have your own files, your own chats, and your own custom instructions for every conversation in that workspace. There aren't a ton of settings to tinker with, but you can set your own custom instructions or just presets for different response styles. You can also manually switch Grok into one of the suggested roles like specialist, doctor, or therapist. It's basically the same as typing a prompt beforehand. It's still a handy extra. I really like Grok. I definitely need to do a full video on it. Oh wait, I'm already working on that, so subscribe if you don't want to miss it. I always used to wonder, why can't I run ChatGPT right on my own laptop? I know the model is huge and needs tons of resources, but come on, wouldn't that be cool? Well, guess what? Now I've got ChatGPT on my MacBook through a console. The only catch is that it's not really ChatGPT at all. It's a tool called DeepSeek. The biggest advantage is that DeepSeek is totally free. ChatGPT hides its best stuff, like advanced reasoning and unlimited image generation, behind a monthly fee. DeepSeek doesn't charge anything for advanced reasoning or any other main feature. You sign up and you get everything it offers, no paywall. Right now, the tool does lack some of ChatGPT's extras, like image generation, deep research, and Canvas, but it does have advanced reasoning and web search. Even though the web search doesn't always work perfectly, that reasoning feature is basically a direct clone of GPT-o1, but it's actually better. When you ask it something, it breaks down the steps in a little thought process panel that you can see. This step-by-step method makes the AI's answers clearer and more accurate. It takes about as long as GPT-o1 with results just as thorough, clever, and original. Then DeepSeek goes further, can handle files. GPT-o1 can work with images that have text in them, but can't tackle an Excel dataset. DeepSeek is exactly what you use if you want to parse data, find patterns, or spot correlations. And because it runs locally, it's a perfect sidekick for data analysis. It can't generate graphs yet, but it will probably change soon. Those same offline abilities also make it great for developers. You can ask for a simple HTML layout, a small Python script, or even a basic JavaScript game. DeepSeek doesn't just generate the code, it can actually run certain demos right in the chat. For example, it might whip up a quick snake game, and you can play then and there. Think about how much easier coding could be with a model like this running in the background. Granted, you would need a pretty powerful computer, but it's still awesome. How do you install it? All you need is a single app, bit of storage, and a few clicks. Then you're all set, and your data stays on your machine. You install it using a tool called Llama, which sets up DeepSeek for you without a bunch of technical headaches. Don't forget to check out our full DeepSeek guide if you want detailed instructions on how to do it right. DeepSeek also has a mobile app. It's not as slick as ChatGPT's official app, but it does have the same features as DeepSeek on your computer, like reasoning, data analysis, and web search. It's laid out pretty much the same, with a simple chat window, 2 toggles for advanced reasoning and web access, plus a button for adding files or snapping pictures on the spot for OCR. I've only found 2 real issues with DeepSeek. One, the servers can be busy a lot because there's so much hype. It's not as bad now, but sometimes you'll still see a server busy message. And second, if you want image generation, you've got to use another tool like Janus from the same developers. Janus doesn't give you a ton of control, but it can generate high quality images pretty fast with no fuss. I really hope they bake that into DeepSeek soon. I'm not fully switching over yet, but I keep it on my Mac for those moments when I'm working with private files or stuck without internet access. I get this question from friends all the time. I don't like switching models in ChatGPT. What should I do? And my answer is always the same. Use Claude. The latest version does all the model picking by itself. For easy stuff, it uses simpler models. And for more difficult tasks, it flips to its reasoning model. And by the way, that reasoning model is right up there with GPT-o1, but with o3 level speeds. Claude isn't just a ChatGPT clone, and it can really shine in areas where ChatGPT might slip up. You might notice something about Claude's responses. They tend to feel more thoughtful, more careful, and sometimes more detailed than ChatGPT's. This reflective quality isn't just random. It's because Claude is trained to weigh context very carefully and lean toward clarity over confusion. Claude's big context windows might sound like a technical detail, but they actually make a big difference in keeping the AI focused. It's better at sticking to a single narrative over long conversations. I tried copying entire chapters of text or big sets of data into Claude, then asked specific questions about each part. It rarely mixed up questions or forgot what it read, and it really seemed like it was actually holding on to older messages instead of guessing once things got complicated. If I want to compare it to ChatGPT for writing, Claude can definitely keep up. Its paragraphs usually feel more structured and cohesive. ChatGPT sometimes loops back or jumps around if you throw it complex prompts, while Claude breaks ideas down more directly. Both AIs can produce usable text, but Claude's calm and organized style can come off more purposeful. That said, Claude could use an upgrade in a few areas. It needs to learn how to generate images and handle them better, and its OCR could stand to improve. It also needs better multimodality. Right now, it doesn't support a ton of formats and isn't amazing at data analysis. As for prompting, Claude is good at understanding natural language, but some of its prompting practices feel outdated, like something from 2020. We have a whole guide on our channel about Claude, plus some handy PDFs and posts over at Geek Academy if you want to dive deeper. Another interesting point is how Claude deals with writing style preferences. If you paste your own writing and ask Claude to mimic it, it usually does so without sounding forced. ChatGPT can do that too, but sometimes it goes too far or misses the subtle things in your wording. Claude is better at picking up on those little hints, like how fast or slow your sentences flow and exact tone you're aiming for. That might seem like a small edge, but if you need the AI to match your personal voice for a big writing project, it's really helpful. Sometimes Claude will refuse to answer certain questions, but that doesn't happen much in everyday use. Of course, ChatGPT can still be more playful or creative if you're just messing with it for stories or brainstorming. Claude can be imaginative, but usually balances that creativity with a bit more logic and caution. Mistral is a French AI that's been quietly improving behind the scenes, and now it's finally a solid option you might actually want to check out. I won't pretend it's flawless, no AI is, but what's great about Mistral is that it kind of reminds me of ChatGPT in its early days, before it turned into the enormous beast it is now. Mistral is simple, almost bare bones, and that's part of its appeal. When it comes to general writing, it's basically on the same level as GPT-4o in terms of quality and depth, but Mistral is faster. It splits out answers in just a few seconds, much faster than ChatGPT can do web searches, look over your code, and generate images. It even has a canvas feature. The catch is that using Mistral can feel a bit awkward because even if you switch on all these tools, you still have to actually call them out by name. Canvas doesn't pop up automatically, so you have to literally say use canvas. Still, it's a pretty cool mode. You can highlight chunks of text to rewrite, and you get handy controls for length, style, and other editing settings. I like how the canvas stays in the middle while the chat window shifts to the right. Just don't try generating images inside Canvas, it won't insert them the way Meta AI does. As for coding, it's decent, but nothing too advanced. It can look at code, catch bugs, and point out errors, but it doesn't have built-in frameworks to preview your app, so you can't see a live version of your code like you can in Gemini. Personally, I wouldn't rely on Mistral for coding projects. Image generation is okay, nothing earth-shattering, it follows prompts well enough, and the results look alright, but it's missing a lot of controls. I also notice it's more sensitive to detailed prompts than other image generators. You really have to specify style, framing, composition, that sort of thing. So no, Mistral isn't going to replace GPT-4o's new image generator anytime soon. One area it does shine is file handling. You can build a little library for each chat, making it simpler to refer back to those files later on. That's a small but handy feature. My favorite feature in ChatGPT has always been deep research. I'm serious. Every video we make starts with deep research, but it costs money, so for a free option, I always suggest Perplexity. It may not be a GPT killer, but it's definitely a deep research killer. Perplexity is really a research tool at heart. It doesn't try to do every single thing, it just does research really well. Its results are almost as accurate and in-depth as ChatGPT's, and it's basically free. It doesn't go for ChatGPT's friendly tone either. It focuses on delivering factual answers in a direct, no-nonsense way. I actually appreciate how Perplexity gets straight to the point. I agree that file handling is better in ChatGPT. It's fully multimodal, and Perplexity is more limited. Perplexity isn't designed to process huge data sets, but it's perfect for PDFs, short code snippets, or smaller Word docs. You upload them, describe what you need, and the AI either summarizes or breaks the text into manageable parts. Perplexity also lets you group these files into spaces, which act like folders for your chat, threads, documents, and even screenshots. Going back to research, the basic mode is good, but Perplexity also has a pro search mode, which works like the deep research we all know and love. But instead of ChatGPT's methods, it uses its own algorithms, so you'll usually see a different approach. If you turn it on, it makes Perplexity dig deeper and use more advanced reasoning. And instead of hiding footnotes or skipping them altogether, Perplexity shows its sources right at the top of the reply. This is one area where it might actually do a better job than ChatGPT for those who really want transparency. But there's more. Focus is a neat feature that tailors the system for different types of data. There are 5 options: web, academic, video, social, math, or writing. In academic, for example, Perplexity pays special attention to peer-reviewed articles and well-known research. Perplexity's coding skills are practical, but they're not the centerpiece. You can paste a Python script or a C++ snippet, and it will point out small bugs or suggest minor improvements. A few parts of Perplexity might feel niche, like the Pages tool that turns your chat into an article-like format. You might not use that every day, but it can be useful now and then. I love Perplexity, but to really make the most out of it, you should stick to research tasks. For everyday stuff, I'd still choose ChatGPT. Over the years, ChatGPT has become such a big name that it's hard to find true replacements. Every new tool tries to match it or outdo it. Some do manage, and some don't. GPT-5 will probably be a fantastic model and might pull ahead of the pack for a while, until Google or xAI steps in again with an update. So would you really ditch ChatGPT for something else, especially after you learn how to use it well in our new AI crash course? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.